The college football season kicking off today. I've got a number of complimentary plays for you, including the West Virginia-Tennessee game, and I've got some betting strategies as well on how to handle these opening weeks of the season. But first and foremost, I want to talk about the single biggest discount available to you the entire year. It goes today, and why. But first, the discount. You can save 30% off your total purchase price today by using coupon code 30%. 30PERCENT. Sing it after me. 30%. I make this coupon available twice a year. At the end of the NBA playoffs and right now at the beginning of the college football season. Why those two times? Because I like to reward you for your loyalty and your patronage. And who am I speaking to? You, the diehard gamblers that are here throughout the summer and the dog days of baseball. Because you are the diehard gamblers just like me that realize you can make money in baseball, the easiest sport of the year to make money in, and you love gambling every single day just like me. Listen, in this business, so many customers stop gambling after the Super Bowl. So many more abandon it after March Madness, and a small number leave after the NBA playoffs. But you guys, the hardcore gamblers, you're here thick and thin every single day during the summer for the reasons I mentioned. So I like to reward you for your patronage and your loyalty. Listen, a lot of other guys will come back a week and a half from now when the NFL season kicks off, and there'll be discounts, but not this big. This is the single biggest discount of the entire season, 30%. And remember, with this coupon, it's a mix and match coupon. It's good for any combination of picks and or packages. The beautiful thing about this is also, let's say you have a long-term package. I'll use Chris Jordan as an example. Let's say you have a long-term package already with Chris Jordan, and it was a 90-day package originally, and you have 20 days left, and you want to re-up. You want to get another 60-day package with Chris Jordan. Boom, you take 30% off that total purchase price. And if you had 20 days left, you buy a new 60-day package, you now have 80 days left. It automatically adds on to your existing package. But if you had an instant rebate, that's applicable as well. The only stipulation, it's a one-time usage coupon. You got to put everything in your shopping cart at one time, picks and or packages, to maximize your savings. If you have any questions, you can always contact customer service. Again, 30% off your total purchase price. It's available now. It's my way of thanking you for your loyalty and your patronage. In terms of the hottest handicappers at the site, in football, to start the season, well, Chris Jordan's off to a 3-0 start. Wyoming last Saturday over New Mexico State. That was a 300-star play. Then back-to-back top-rated 1,000-star winners the past two nights. 2 nights ago, it was Minnesota crushing New Mexico State. Last night, it was Duke over Army. You got them both for over half price off. Tonight, top-rated 1,000-star winner, Louisville and Alabama. He's made $1 bettors in college football, a little over 15 grand the past couple of seasons combined. And those same $1 bettors up $169,000, you heard me right, in all sports since 2006. And $1 bettors up over $51,000 in all sports in, past 636 days. So we're coming up almost on 2 years. That's like a 22-and-a-half-month run. And Chuck O'Brien on Thursday night had the 4th ever 100-dime college football play of his career. Scored easily. Central Florida with the road blowout of Connecticut. Last night, 5th ever 100-dime college football play. Almost as easy. Colorado crushing Colorado State. That on the heels of hitting 3 out of 4 100-dime plays Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and Wednesday. That stretch in baseball. He's won, or he's going today, for winning day number 7 out of 8 since last Saturday. 6th ever 100-dime college football release of his career. He's calling it his Saturday night bailout blowout. And you get it for over half price off by using coupon code CHUCK. All your other discounts and coupon codes are over on the homepage. As for me, guys, quickly, I told you that at the start of this summer that baseball is the easiest sport to make money in, as I just alluded to earlier. I told you that I generally always win in baseball. I've turned a profit 14 of the last 17 baseball seasons, and I'm well in line to make it 15 out of 18 years because I've stayed true to my word. After winning last night with the Cardinals on the run line, I've now won 42 of the last 64 days, or 41 of the last 63 days. Going back 6 Fridays ago, my Raise the Bar 20-dime releases in baseball, they are my absolute highest rated plays. They're even bigger than my normal top rated 15-time plays. I've hit 22 out of 34 of them after cashing with the Cardinals last night. So I hope you've been along for the ride. I hope you've made a hell of a lot of money just like I have, because there's nothing better than starting the college football season than having a bankroll that's been funded by somebody else. Now, college football. Here's what I will tell you, as I tell you at the outset of every single season, no matter the sport. The only time we have the advantage over the odds makers is the opening couple weeks of any season, because the lines are never sharp. Because the odds makers know nothing more about these teams than we do. There's been spring practices, there's been summer practices, it could be fall practices. They know what the beat writers and the coaches say. They know what we read. It's an even playing field. But the lines are never sharp. So the favorites are never juiced up as much as they're going to be. That's the beauty of the opening weeks of any sport. Now, inevitably, once they see these teams play a couple of games, those lines are going to get sharp and it's going to be tough. But this is when we have the advantage. So when you're looking at some of those chalks out there that are double-digit big favorites today, don't be scared off by them, because they may be undervalued chalks, even though they're big, big numbers. And those underdogs may not be nearly as attractive as they could be a couple of weeks from now. Again, it's all cyclical, and eventually the lines will turn and you will get screwed, because that's how it goes. Everything's cyclical in gambling. The other thing is, and I think this is the most important thing that I can tell you when it comes to betting college football and betting college basketball, always concentrate the most where the odds makers concentrate the least. And what I mean by that is simply this. The toughest games are the marquee matchups. You may want to watch Michigan Notre Dame on TV. You might want to watch Alabama Louisville on TV. Maybe you want to watch the Washington game against Auburn on TV. Those lines are razor sharp, because you generally have more information on those teams. And they're the toughest games to win. Concentrate the most where the odds makers concentrate the least. It's the under-the-radar games in college football and college basketball specifically where you find the most value and you find the greatest opportunities to walk away with the easiest wins. I know it for a fact, and it's always the case. And remember this. A game from the Sun Belt Conference has the same 50-50 betting proposition and odds as a game from any Power 5 conference. End of story. And we move on. Let's get to your complimentary plays here. I have a number of them for you. I'll try to run these in somewhat reverse chronological order, although I'm going to start on an afternoon game here. It's a game that's actually being played at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, and that is the game between the University of Tennessee and West Virginia. Interesting matchup here in this particular contest, too. I'm not too sure what Tennessee is going to have this year. This has been a program that's been disarray the past couple of years, but there is no way that I'm going to back the Volunteers, at least early in the season. Jeremy Pruitt, I think they got a damn good coach, the former Alabama defensive coordinator. He's got a big rebuild, though, with this program. And listen, not only did he bring in his whole coaching staff, but, they're installing brand new offensive and defensive systems. And he doesn't have his players there to take over either, he's got to work with what he's got with the preceding regime. He only has 12 returning starters anyway. What I like about West Virginia is this is a team that has Will Grier at quarterback, a potential Heisman candidate. They've got a bevy of offensive talent. The question with West Virginia is whether or not the Mountaineers can deliver defensively. Neutral site game, 9.5-point spread. I'm more than willing to take West Virginia in this contest. Another interesting game is California, 7.5-point favorite in Berkeley tonight, or this afternoon against North Carolina. Now remember, last year California went to Chapel Hill and rallied for a 35-30 win as a 12.5-point underdog. Their quarterback, Bowers, 363 yards and 4 touchdowns in the comeback win. Now, North Carolina, the return engagement today, longest trip in school history for a football game, like some 2,800 miles. And you're playing with a depleted North Carolina team because, that noted institution of learning, higher learning, Dig. How many of their players? 13 of them got suspended because they were selling athletic wear. The suspensions are staggered, but up to 9 players may miss this game. One of them definitely missing the game is going to be their starting quarterback. California has 10 starters back on offense. This is a North Carolina team that has failed to cover in each of its last 5 season openers. This is a Golden Bears team that was 5-1 against the spread at home last season. A California team that's won 14 of its last 16 openers straight up. A California team that has a bevy of offensive talent back. A strong ground game. It's returning quarterback. I like California in this spot. I see this North Carolina team that played absolutely no defense last year, especially against the run. And I'll tell you what, Larry Fedora, I don't know what the hell is going on with that program with the Tar Heels, but I'm more than willing to lay the 7.5 points with California in that game. And listen, I lost a teaser as a complimentary play last night because I was on the wrong side with Michigan State and Colorado. Buffaloes were a winner, but unfortunately Michigan State was not in that 2-team teaser. But let me just throw out a potential teaser here as well. A 2-team 6-point teaser. California down to 1.5 against North Carolina playing at home. And West Virginia, you could take them, they're probably going to go up to 10 by game time. You could take them down to a field goal against Tennessee. I don't really particularly want to endorse it that much, but I'm just throwing it out there. Here's another game that I like a lot. Arizona is an 11-point favorite today at home. It's a late-night game, 10:45 Eastern Time kickoff in Tucson against BYU. It's going to be hot in Tucson, so that's something the BYU Cougars are going to have to deal with. BYU last year played decent defensively. Offensively, it was just a nightmare because of all the quarterback injuries. Now, Tanner Mangum is back for them. But are the Cougars going to be able to deliver, even though Arizona's defense was just horrendous last year? But here's the little asterisk next to that statement. Arizona's defense was horrendous. It was undersized. But then again, when you play in the pass-happy Pac-12, you're going to give up a boatload of points anyway. Even saying that, can BYU put enough points on the board to contend with an Arizona high-octane offense that has most of its starters back, including quarterback Khalil Tate, who should even have a bigger season than he had last year in his breakout campaign, with Kevin Sumlin, who, if you had to give me a quarterback and a coach that were ideally meant to be together with an offensive system that is designed for each other, it's Sumlin and Tate. And Kevin Sumlin, given the big bucks after getting the boot out of Texas A&M, and after Rich Rod was booted out of Tucson, this is a program and a coach that's meant for each other and need for each other. And I think that Sumlin has no problem with putting a lot of points on the board and running up the score in this one. I think that Arizona can easily cover this game and win it by 17 or more points here. And I'm just not that impressed with BYU in this contest. And then finally, on the early card, Nebraska, Scott Frost. How much is expected? Oh, no, this is actually a nighttime game. I like Nebraska here. And Scott Frost in his return to Lincoln. Now, listen, Scott Frost decided to go with the freshman Adrian Martinez as his quarterback. This is the guy who was the number one guy that he targeted as his top recruit when he was still coaching Central Florida. He wanted him. He went to California. He got him. He gave him the starting quarterback job. This guy's fleet of foot, good passer. And this is a Nebraska team that has a lot of talent on that offensive line, a lot of size, a lot of depth, and ought to be able to absolutely dominate the smallish, undersized, inexperienced defensive line for Akron. This is an Akron team that, yes, they have 9 starters back on defense. A defense that has allowed an average of 30 points and 455 yards a game over the past 2 seasons. And you look at Akron last year and you say, okay, yeah, they won the Mid-American Conference Eastern title. Yes, and they opened last season with a 52-0 loss to Penn State, and they ended last season with a 50-3 loss to Florida Atlantic in the Boca Raton Bowl. And they lost their starting quarterback. They lost 6 of their top 7 receivers. They lost their top running back from last year. And how ironic that in 1997, the Cornhuskers opened their season with a 59-14 win against Akron at home, and Scott Frost was their quarterback. And here he is making his return to Lincoln and they're hosting Akron. Of the complimentary plays I just gave you, Nebraska would be the lowest on the tier, okay? But I do like Nebraska in this one. However, I will say that I do like the other selections more, those being West Virginia, California, and Arizona. And if I had to rank those three, I would probably say that, California and, California would be number 1, Arizona would be number 2, West Virginia would be number 3, and Nebraska would be number 4 for your complimentary plays for Saturday. That'll do it, guys. I wish you well, and I'll talk to you again on Sunday when we do it again.